Hello everyone, I'm currently creating a series called DevOps Deep Dive. In this series, we are going to understand what is DevOps, what are the DevOps tools and practices, how these practices and tools evolved, and what is the future of these things. This is the first official video in this series. To get an understanding of what we are trying to do, when you're swimming for the first time, you would take a walk around the pool, understand the dimensions, look at what other people are doing. You will just get a sense of how deep each end of the pool is. So that's exactly what we are going to do in this deep dive series as well. To start with, we are going to get a 360-degree view from a very high level before we deep dive into each and every component of that DevOps ecosystem. So without any further ado, let's do this. The clinical definition or the technical definition of DevOps might slightly differ, but it is a combination or an amalgamation of dev and ops. So it focuses on two things. One is the stakeholders involved in the software development process and the software development process itself. When you're building something for yourself, like a side project or something, you will be doing everything from product management to the deployment to the maintenance to the customer support. But if you're in a corporate environment or if you're building software for other people, then what you would do is you would be working with different stakeholders of the team. You would have a product team, you would have a design team, you would have development operations. And the crucial element of development and operations to be working hand in hand so that we deliver products fast and easier kind of forms the core of what DevOps is. So whenever we are talking about DevOps, you need to keep in mind that it comprises or it focuses on bringing the best of dev and the ops team together. The second thing is the software lifecycle process. The software lifecycle process, again, has evolved over the period of time from waterfall model, then agile, then lean, and most of the teams kind of customizes these processes to best fit their requirements. So keeping in mind the dev and ops team and the continuous changing of the software lifecycle model, we come to why of DevOps. Why do we even need DevOps? Of course, the goal is really good that you want to be delivering fast and you want better collaboration. But then technically what was going wrong in the previous methodology of dev and ops is that they are completely separate. The operations team completely takes care of how the software is going to get deployed, whereas the development team works on the features and everything that revolves around the product and its features. When these two teams does not work hand in hand, what happens? You come across something like this: oh, we merged the code 4 weeks back, but it's not deployed. The ops team is having some issues, and the ops team will say like the developers has changed the requirements, they have changed the packages, and now it's not deploying in this bare metal server that we are having. So this constant fight of who owns what and what is the process boils down to the need of DevOps. So how is DevOps solving this problem? Again, is like by systematically engaging dev and ops, by clearly defining that this is what the process is. Once the software team is done with their development, you have to hand it off to DevOps team in a particular manner so that they can deploy it easily. And faster and stable development, you don't have bottlenecks in your pipeline. Think of this as a conveyor belt of software systems going from one hand to other hand without any bottlenecks. And even if there are bottlenecks, we should be able to preemptively understand it so that we can work on them. Once you do all of this, once you have a very nicely working conveyor belt, what you will have is also an improved business. So again, say it with me, when you search Google for DevOps, you will see a variety of tools, which we will definitely cover. But DevOps is a mindset, it's a process to solve problems. The problems of the dev and ops team. It's not about Docker, it's not about Kubernetes, it's all about the problems that these two teams face. Now, how DevOps makes this possible is it is a collection, like I said, it's a collection of processes, practices, and ideologies. So you take inspiration from, for example, the whole of DevOps came into existence because it has taken inspiration from the conveyor belt concept, right? You have to have a very smooth system of software flowing from development to operations to delivery. So the ideologies and practices is what makes DevOps so enticing for DevOps teams. So it all boils down to something very, very unique. It's called automation. Automating everything that dev and ops team come across in everyday life so that it's reproducible, and you can replace people so that the knowledge is in a centralized way. And there are a couple of DevOps practices which lets you do this. One is infrastructure as code. I'm sorry, I misspelled that. It's infrastructure as code, and CI/CD pipelines, continuous integration and continuous deployment, containerization, so that you don't point fingers saying, who screwed up the delivery, and automated testing. Again, it's a part of the code review process. And continuous monitoring. Once you're deployed, you have to ensure that the system is stable, it's not consuming a lot of resources, it's not failing abruptly. So there are tools around this. So each of these practices independently have devised tools which you currently see as DevOps. Again, it's only these practices which has evolved to the tools, not the other way around. So some of the DevOps tools or infrastructure as software is given to by, you will famously hear Ansible or Terraform, and CI/CD, Jenkins, Circle CI, and there are a variety of players in this. Containerization are like EC2 VMs to Dockerization. For automated testing, you have specific testing tools pertaining to that particular language, like Python has PyTest. So each software or each programming language has their own specific testing frameworks. And for continuous monitoring, you have Prometheus. For logging, you have Stackdriver. So again, it's not the tools that makes DevOps, it's the practices, what you're trying to accomplish with each of these tools. Now, the challenges in DevOps that the teams currently face is the mindset shift, right? When conventional teams, most of the teams have evolved, most of the startups are now starting with DevOps in mind. Most of the newbie software developers do not know the conventional system at all. But for the teams that are transitioning, it's a mindset shift. Instead of working in silos, you're currently expected to collaborate. So there is an insane amount of training needed in that aspect. And secondly, learning each of this tool set is a huge process. It can take somewhere around 3 to 6 months. The amount of training that's involved in just understanding each tool set and the capabilities of them, it's a humongous task for any organization. The third point is to take a step back from the current process and understand it, because none of these are set in stone, which is one of the other points I have. None of these are set in stone. Just because you start using Jenkins doesn't mean you have to use it in the best possible way. You have to find out what works the best for you. So that is an important point that is missing. You have to take a step back, look at how your conveyor belt is working, what are the processes that's blocking it, and then come up with a system around it with these tools involved. Thinking of DevOps as in like a huge, humongous project in itself is a very wrong thing, because it's a very customizable solution pertaining to your organization's needs. So you can't just say, for the next 6 months, we are going to say, sit and do the DevOps for our system, and then it will all run smoothly. No, it's a very iterative process. You have to consistently monitor and watch and tweak your system to work, and looking for one size fits all. Just because Facebook does it doesn't mean you have to do it. Just because Google says it's the best practice, this doesn't mean you have to do it in your system. So these are some of the challenges when companies adopt DevOps. But the challenges will erode over the period of time as we start with DevOps first, which means we will be figuring out things on the way. It's a very iterative process. Moving on, the future of DevOps is like ops in everything, which makes sense because you want to have the best possible workflow in every aspect of your software engineering. And software engineering is also really expanding with the introduction of machine learning, introduction of edge devices, introduction of data engineering, and all these aspects of software engineering pipelines also needs operations. For example, take machine learning. Everybody knows what machine learning is. It does not end with just the building of the model, right? You need to procure data for it, and you need to clean up the data, and you need to feed that into the machine learning model and get the inference out of it and feed the output to a different part of the system. So all of this needs a certain amount of operations to ensure that all these machine learning models, which are really huge, working with large amount of data, scales properly, works properly, you can monitor it. Yes, there is a variety of operations involved in each aspect of this extended software engineering pipeline, which is where the DevOps is moving forward. And as each of this field, as the need of the software development increases, you will also have more tools coming up. So, in the series of DevOps Deep Dive, we are going to next go into these individual practices, for example, infrastructure as code or CI/CD pipeline, and understand how each of those evolved and how it's sitting well with the current DevOps pipeline. I'm looking forward to deep dive a lot more on this series. Do subscribe and follow me on Twitter. I'm writing my learnings as I go through things in my newsletter, so you can find all of that on my Twitter. This is a new venture. I hope this goes really well.